Hi everybody and welcome to a Kuta worksheet tutorial. Today we're doing multiplying binomials. Now you've probably recognized multiplying binomials by FOIL. A lot of your teachers will teach you the FOIL method, and what this simply means is first, outside, inside. I wish I didn't write it. Now that I'm writing it, I don't like how I'm writing it. And last. Okay, so first, as I'm reading down, outside, inside, last. Now, you're probably thinking, if this is the first time you're saying, what the heck are you talking about? Well, each time we have a binomial, and binomial means two terms. So we have bi, meaning two terms, nomial. So you can see that we're multiplying two binomials. This one has two terms, 1, 2, and this one has two terms, 1, 2. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you already know this stuff, you just want to see me get to the action, maybe just skip ahead a little bit. But I want to explain this just in case this is the first time you're seeing a binomial. Okay. Now, as we have a binomial, you'll notice that we have certain positions. I call them like slots. So we have a slot here, a slot there, a slot here, and a slot there. 2 slots for each parentheses. So what we have going on is the first slot in each parentheses is called the first term. So here we have the first slot, okay? And I labeled it with an F. And now I want to change the colors a little bit. Now we have, let's change this to pink actually, magenta. We call this the last slot. So if that's the first slot, then that's the last slot. Now each slot has 2 names, okay? So one way to consider this, we have the first slot, last slot, okay? So, but there's a second name for both of these. I'm gonna write this at the bottom. We also can call these the outside slots. Now why the outside? Because if we were to look at this as like a group, these would be on the outside, okay? So the outside, okay, imagine this is a house, the elements would be hitting the outside of the house, okay? So those are the outside slots. And just as we have outside slots and each slot has 2 different names, these are going to be called the inside. What color should I use? Orange. These are going to be the inside slots. Okay, this is on the inside of the parentheses. Okay, inside. So these are the inside slots. So each slot has 2 terms, as we've talked about. And what we need to do is we need to multiply each one of these terms. So FOIL means we're going to multiply the first terms together, the outside terms together, the inside terms together, and the last terms together. What you may not have known is that you can actually do the same process in a different order and you're going to get the same result. So you could LOIF. That is, you could start with the last terms, multiply those last terms together, multiply the outside terms together, then the inside, and then the first terms, and you're going to get the same thing. As long as you keep the signs correct, you're going to get the same thing. You could OILIF. You could go outside, inside, last, first. You could LIFO. You could go last, inside, first, outside. There's all different combinations. As long as you keep the signs correct and do the correct multiplication, combining the correct terms, you're good to go, okay? So that's like the principle of it. Now, if you want to use FOIL, and I'm going to show you FOIL in this first example. If you want to use FOIL, that's fine. I'm not going to dissuade you from using FOIL. I just prefer something else, and I'll show that after I'm done with this FOIL. So I'm going to show this first example. I'm going to show 2 different ways. So here's my first terms. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply my first terms together. I have 3n times n. Now I'm going to go to my last terms. What color did I use over there? I used this magenta. Okay. So magenta. Here's my last terms. I'm going to multiply those 2 together. So first, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to go to outside. All right, so outside terms. My mistake. My outside terms are 3n and 3. So I do plus, and the reason why it's plus is because both of these have a plus sign. Okay, both of those are positive, so it's going to be positive. And then I get 3n times 3. Those are my outside terms. Outside. Let me move the F up top, just as we have in our previous picture. First, outside. Okay, now I'm going to do my inside terms. What color did I use for that? I've already forgotten again. Orange. Okay, orange for my inside. So these are my inside terms. Okay, so I'm going to do plus, both of them are positive, 2 times n, and then my last term. So you can see I'm not a super big fan of this method, but these are my last terms. Plus, both of them are positive, 2 times 3. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish the multiplication here. And usually as you're doing it, you would do this in your head. You wouldn't write out the multiplication twice. And I'll show that in a second. 3n squared plus, if you want instruction, I have a video on this, but there's an implied 1 here. And if we have the same base multiplied together, we're going to keep the base the same, and then we are going to add the exponents. 1 plus 1 gives me 2, so 3n squared. If we have coefficients in front, we're going to multiply the coefficients, and we're going to leave the variables how they are, plus 2n plus 6. Okay, now, you're always going to be combining like terms with multiplying binomials. Okay, so we have, move this up a little bit, we have 9n squared and 2n that we need to combine. Notice how the 3n squared is going to stay the same. There's no other n squared to combine it with. And the 6 is going to stay the same. The only thing that's going to change is this n term, which is going to become 11n. And this is actually our final answer. Now that we've combined like terms, this is all we have remaining, and we are done. Okay? Now, how do I prefer to do this? Well, if you want to like take a picture or jot this down or whatever, that's fine. Okay, go ahead and I'll even give you the labels. This is the first. This is the outside. This is the inside, and this is the last. Okay, so this is one method that people like to do. Let me show you in what color should I use? I'll use this red color. What I like to do is this. So we have 3n plus 2, and then n plus 3. I simply like to draw 2 sets of arcs that show the distribution. So normally when you distribute, like if you have something like this, you would distribute this like this, and you multiply that 2 times n and then 2 times 3. I just show that here, okay? Actually, I'm gonna, yeah, that's fine. And then I also show it here. What you just need to do is in each parenthesis, you're going to have a binomial. You need to multiply each term, so the 2, you need to multiply by both terms in the second parentheses. Okay, you need to multiply the 2 by both of these. And then you also need to multiply the 3 by both of them. Choose a different color. Okay, and that's all you need to do. So I made sure I got the 2 multiplied by both, and then the 3n multiplied by both. And that's the same thing. So if I show this, I do 3n times n gives me 3n squared. 3n times 3 gives me 9n. Then I get, what color did I use? Blue. Then I get 2 times n gives me 2n, and then I get 2 times 3 gives me 6. And that's the process. You're going to have like terms in the middle, just as we did before, and you get the same answer over here. Okay, so this ends up being the same thing. I just think it's a little bit more efficient. You don't have to worry about which one's first terms, outside, inside. Okay, FOIL is just like a nice little slogan to help you remember, but I think the distributive property is a little bit easier to consider. So if we go into number 4 here, this is like an easier example. I'm going to distribute this r to both terms, okay? And then I'm going to distribute this 1 to both terms, okay? And I'm going to do that multiplication. So just to be a little bit more thorough, r times r, and then we have negative 3 times r. I like to write the negative out in front like that, keep it straight. Then I have 1 times r gives me positive 1r, and then 1 times negative 3 gives me negative 3. You're always going to have like terms with binomials. Always be prepared for that. Usually it's the middle terms. So then I have r squared, that's what that becomes, minus 3r plus 1r, and then minus 3. Again, I should have combined these terms, so that my final answer becomes r squared minus 2r minus 3, and I am done. Now, as you do this more and more, you're going to get better and better at it. So if we go on to number 10, okay, I can do it all in one color, and I'm just kind of showing you the progression of how you go quicker and quicker with this, because that's the whole plan. You don't want to spend 2 hours doing this stuff. So we have 2x times 3x, 6x squared. Notice how I just did that in my head. X to the first, keep the base the same, x, add the exponents. Then I have 2x times 3, that's my second one, and I get 6x. I'm I'm going to change the color of this. Actually, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Don't want you guys to lose track. Now I have negative 3 times 3x and also times a positive 3. So I get negative 9x, and then I get a negative 9. Combine like terms here. I get, these are the like terms, 6x squared minus 3x minus 9, and I'm done. That's what I get. Okay. As you do this, you're going to get better and better at it. So if I go to number 15 here, I distribute on the top, I get 15v squared minus 30v, and then on the bottom, I get positive 12v minus 24. I'm always going to be combining these middle terms. There's no other v squared, so it stays 15v squared, but this is going to be minus 18v, and then minus 24, and I'm done with my final answer. Okay, let's just do a couple more for you guys. You're probably sick of this already, but just in case, 40b squared, then we get minus 40b, and then I get negative 5b. You got to be careful when there's negatives, okay? Anytime you see negatives, just be careful with it. So we get negative 5b plus 5. Negative times negative is a positive. Be very careful with that. So we have middle terms we're going to combine. 40b squared minus 45b plus 5. There's our answer. Those are the answers down there. Is there any other ones I should do? Let's go ahead and do maybe one up here. So we do 9p squared plus 6p. Okay, that was the top one. Now I'm doing the bottom arcs. 9p plus 6. 3 times 2 is 6. 9p squared, no other term. 6p and 9p combined to 15p, and then plus 6. Okay, I hope you guys get the idea. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you want to use FOIL, use that. I like this process a lot more. There's other ways to think of it too, by grouping this and that. I think these are the most effective methods, so I hope you took something out of this, and I look forward to seeing you next time on West Explains Best.